Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, this is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the Intermission Group.
Where's yours?
Right here.
I didn't have time to clean my glass today, so... Yep, he's got to take a hit of his fucking THC vape right here. He needs to get into the right mood. But, alright, man. Cheers. If you're even
Cheers,
done
brother.
yet. So, before we get into today's podcast, the question of the podcast is, what is your ideal soundtrack? You know, just like for everyday type of music, you know?
Usually my go-to is I just listen to all the Deer Hunters acts.
Yeah. Anytime I want to listen to like any rock operas, I always listen to like either Tommy or The Wall, you know, because those are really well-known albums. But
I'll be right back. I grab my sunflower seeds.
Just as I need to have a talk with him, he always fucking does this, people. Do you see what I have to deal with every fucking day?
Okay, I'm back.
But I was like I was saying, and my ideal soundtrack is like just some good hard rock stuff, you know, boom, 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 and all that. So, which brings us to today's legit album review, and this is a album that, for some reason or another, is considered the soundtrack of the 1990s. And before we get into what this album is that we are going to review today, all right, Aegis, let's pretend you are one of the main executives or whoever who is going to authorize whether or not this album gets created, all right? So, here's how it's going to go. This album is going to be released by two record labels. The first one is Maverick, an entertainment company that is owned by Warner Music Group, who is associated with Warner Brothers. And the other label is Reprise Records, a record company that was founded in 1960 by Frank Sinatra and has many bands and musicians signed with them, such as Green Day, Eric Clapton, Stevie Nicks, Neil Young, Lindsey Buckingham, Disturbed, and much more. This album's going to be produced by Glenn Ballard, who produced the first two albums by Wilson Phillips and who worked with the likes of Michael Jackson, No Doubt, the Goo Goo Dolls, the Dave Matthews Band, etc. Session musicians who will be hired for this album will include Dave Navarro, the guitarist for Jane's Addiction and who served as the former guitarist for Red Hot Chili Peppers for a time. It's also going to include Michael Landau, who worked as a session guitarist for Joni Mitchell, Rod Stewart, Michael Jackson, Pink Floyd, Phil Collins, Roger Daltrey, Stevie Nicks, Glenn Frey, Whitney Houston, and Miles Davis. It's also going to include Joel Shearer, who was the guitarist and vocalist for Pedestrian. And one of my all-time favorite bassists right here, Flea, who is the bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the former supergroup Atoms for Peace, and who also worked with acts such as Johnny Cash, Tom Waits, Nirvana, and Jane's Addiction. It'll also have Benmont Tench, who was the keyboardist for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And finally, Matt Laug, who was the drummer who worked with AC/DC, Alice Cooper, and Slash's Snakepit. So I ask you, Aegis, do you greenlight this album, yes or no?
Yes.
Congratulations, you have just created the album we are going to review today, and I am, of course, talking about Alanis Morissette's 1995 Magnum Opus, Jagged Little Pill.
No, I was telling my sister Marmar today that we were going to be reviewing this album today, and she really likes this album. She likes it a lot. And I told her, yeah, I think Alanis Morissette is a very good vocalist. And she agreed with me.
There's a reason why she is considered one of the main musicians of the 90s. This album made her legacy. There's no doubt about it.
Out of all of the most like recent years of fucking pop musicians, if you want to even call it pop, it's not really pop. It's more like post-grunge, I think it was called.
Post-grunge and alternative rock.
She has such a beautiful and unique voice. I really liked it.
Yeah, I was.
particularly in the first song. The first song was my favorite song in the album. Just the way she used her voice in it. It was
Yeah.
very unique, and I loved it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the lyrics touch upon themes of aggression and unsuccessful relationships, while Ballard, the producer, who also worked as a session musician too, he introduced a pop sensibility to Morissette's angst, is what it is. And the title for this album was taken from a line in the first verse of the song "You Learn."
Yep.
And as far as it goes for like what my favorite song is, we will get into that at the end of this, but obviously, I even said this to you again. I'll say it again. And I'm sure a lot of people can agree with me. There is a reason why this album is considered the soundtrack of the 90s and why it was quote unquote everyone's soundtrack. It's not for everyone, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It is what it is, kind of thing. My soundtrack, personally, for like the 90s, for me, was OK Computer, you know?
System, literally just about anything System of a Down from 1993 between. So like their original self-titled album and
Yeah.
Toxicity, I think was in the late 1990s. Those are my
Toxicity was
favorite soundtracks
2001.
from. It was 2001. Close
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, close enough, so. Man, my ear fucking tickles.
Fucking hate it. The inside of your ear itches and you can't reach in far enough to scratch it.
Yeah. I found some of these fucking spam posts on Facebook. It was like, oh, here's some technology where you could scoop it all out of there because it's apparently you're pushing it all up there, but you could scrape it out. But I was like, yeah, it's like giving your fucking ear a lobotomy. Okay, so to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, of how very impactful this album was, this is listed at number 69 on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time, and is often considered one of the very great, finest albums. I'm going to include a link to this article in the description below, but I'm going to read it for all of you right now. And here's what it says. A very important record from my childhood. I clearly remember going halves with my sister to buy this CD. That would effectively make it the first CD I bought, or amongst the first few, and I listened to it to death. While this is her third release overall, it was the first released internationally. A major shift in sound from her first two, mainly naively considered this her debut. Following her second album, Alanis Morrisette moved from Toronto to LA, where she met producer Glenn Ballard. Amongst many other releases, Ballard had contributed songwriting and production to Michael Jackson's Bad and Dangerous, most notably Man in the Mirror and Keep the Faith. Influenced by grunge and alternative music of the time, which were some of the big genres in the 90s, Ballard would refine Morissette's angst into well-crafted pop songs, resulting in 13 really incredible songs. Why 13? This might possibly be the first album on the list to include a secret track. The Stalker song, Your House, All I Really Want, kicks the proceedings off, setting the tone of songs to follow. The middle 8 section in the song would be a recurring device used throughout. Track 2 is arguably Morissette's signature song, You Outta Know, a revenge breakup song allegedly about Full House's Dave Collier, who she was romantically involved with at the time. And that's a story that I will get into when we talk about this song. So the article continues to say, Ballard assembles a supergroup of sorts to deliver the song. The soaring vocals of Alanis, the unmistakable bass of Red Hot Chili Peppers' Flea, as well as their one-time guitarist Jane Addiction's Dave Navarro. The song was essentially rearranged by the pair, with the middle section heavily reassembling their own band songs Aeroplane. Rounding the supergroup off is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers organist Ben Montench. Although often rumored, Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters doesn't play drums on the recording, but was her live drummer during her live shows. The 10 out of 10 album also includes Hand in My Pocket, You Learn, Head Over Feet, and Ironic. And I know you have a lot to say about this song, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So
yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it.
It was nominated for 9 Grammys, winning 5, making the 21-year-old Alanis, she was 21 at the time, the youngest winner at that time for Album of the Year. It went to the
Nice.
#1 spot in 13 countries, and to date has sold a staggering 33 million copies, making it one of the biggest selling albums of all time, just behind MJ's Band, coincidentally, because, like I said, Glenn Ballard worked with Michael Jackson. It has recently been turned into a musical. I always forget how incredible this album is until I re-listen to it, and I'm reminded all over again. Loved re-listening to this after so many years. All right, gotta catch my breath quick. Ah. All right, so I'm going to quickly go into the background of how this album came to be.
Okay.
So, the background story is that in 1991, MCA Records Canada released Morissette's debut studio album, simply titled Alanis, which did go platinum in Canada. Her second album, Now Is the Time, sold a little more than half the copies of her first album. With her 2-album deal complete, Morissette was left without a recording contract. Then in 1993, Morissette's publisher Leeds Levy at MCA Music Publishing introduced her to manager Scott Welch. Welch told Headquarters he was impressed with her spectacular voice, her character, and her lyrics. At the time, she was still living with her parents in Ottawa. Together, they decided it would be best for her career to move to Toronto and start writing with other people. After graduating from high school, Morissette made the move. Her publisher funded part of her development, and when she met producer and songwriter Glenn Ballard, he believed in her talent enough to let her use his studio. And then she, like I said, moved to Los Angeles after to start working on this. And everything went pretty good from what I saw. Even Ballard declared to Rolling Stone that I just connected with her as a person and almost parenthetically or parenthetically or whatever. It was like, wow.
Parenthetically.
Thank you. He was like, wow, you're only 19? She was so intelligent and ready to take a chance on doing something that might have no commercial application. Although there was some question about what she really wanted to do musically. And that is, when he added the, the pop sensation to it, Alrighty. I'm just seeing what else we got here. Let's take a look at the awards that they won. Like, I'm interested in what they got. Okay, here we go. No, the album received numerous awards and accolades. Morissette and the album won 5 Juno Awards in 1996. And for, at the Grammys, it was Album of the Year, Single of the Year for You Oughta Know, Female Vocalist of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, and Best Rock Album. At the 1996 Grammys, she won 4, or this might be something different right here. Okay, yeah, those 5 that I just said were at the Juno Awards. The 4 that she won at the Grammys was Best Female Rock Vocal Performance, Best Rock Song, both for You Oughta Know, Best Rock Album, and Album of the Year. And Morissette consequently tied with Carole King and Bonnie Raitt for the record of most Grammys won by a woman at a single ceremony at the time. So you gotta admit, that is pretty impressive right there.
Yeah, it is.
And in 1998, the album was ranked at number 28 in the top 100 albums list of the Music of the Millennium, a nationwide public survey conducted in the UK and in 1999 by HMV Music Stores. In 2000, it was voted number 51 in Colin Larkins's all-time top 1,000 albums. And then, of course, we have, where it's at in Rolling Stone magazines. And then also included in the book 1001 albums you must listen to before you die. And I gotta say, man, you know, like there's a reason why it's included on there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it was a very good, it was a very solid album. I mean, there were
Yeah.
a couple skips here and there that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but most of the music on the album I did like. My
Yeah.
only main critique on the album, I know, I thought the lyrics were kind of weak, but I have high standards when it comes to lyricism, so
Yeah.
it's
And
nothing against them. It's,
yeah, and you
no.
writing the stuff that you are writing, you surely know that.
Yeah. And you've only heard the stuff I've already composed music for. You should hear some of my other lyrics. They're a lot of my newer lyrics are even better than the ones I've composed music for, you know?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you loud and clear.
Plus,
Alrighty,
there's
man.
that concept album I'm working on, which I've been making some good progress on, which once it's done, I'll read it to you and you'll let me know what you think.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. No doubt about it. Yeah, heck, even like I was at home for 4th of July, and my mom showed me some of the stuff that my nephew Trey's been writing, dude. And you need to take a look. You need to have a talk with him now.
Yeah.
You might need to. I'm just saying.
Okay. I like
Alrighty.
collaborating with people.
What's that?
I like collaborating with people.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, so you ready to get into these songs?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, you have genius.com up. I'm always counting on you to do that part. So
I do. I have it up.
perfect. We are ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is pretty much supposed to be like a post grunge and alternative rock stuff. And remember, we were in a day and age where that was like one of the main genres alongside with Britpop. Because remember, 1995 was a big year for a lot of music because not only did we have Jagged Little Pill that came out, but we also had Radiohead's sophomore album, The Bends, and Oasis's album, What's the Story, Morning Glory.
And I hear Oasis has got back together again. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've watched their reunion show that they did last week. It's amazing, dude. Well, that's a story for another day. So,
Yeah. All right.
all
So
right, all right. So
this is this is just
this is the
oh, go ahead.
first
Sorry.
song that we're starting off with. It's called "All I Really Want," and I don't know what it is to me, dude, but for some reason, her voice almost sounded like she was stoned.
Honestly, out of all the songs in this album, this is my absolute favorite. Mainly just because, like, I don't really care for the lyricism on most of this album. So
Yeah,
I'm judging it mostly just by the music and the vocals. This album showcases her vocal talent much better than any of the others on this album. I
oh yeah,
loved it. I loved her vocals on this song. They
yeah.
were fucking incredible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at some of these right now, you know, like um the one, like I said, dude, it's like a pretty good start right here. Like it felt, yeah, I thought it was gonna start like pretty hard, but it almost felt like it was just starting like, you know, slow to try and get you amped up and hyped for what's gonna come ahead, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do hear. So I am looking at some of this stuff right here. Like it starts with simply, "Do I stress you out? My sweater is on backwards and inside out." It's like a reference to like obviously the main themes of this album is like destructive bad relationships and all that. And this is like, you know, like if you're having for example, like a workplace romance with whoever, and they stayed over the night with you, and they just put their shit back on inside out and leave.
Yeah, what Genius says is on the bottom. It says on one of the grungiest cuts off Jagged Little Pill, Alanis confrontationally vents about the dissonant, frustrating, and often constrictive natures of a relationship. Touchstone demons include being a misfit, impulsive, needy, and lonely.
Yeah. I'm looking at the like Wikipedia right now. I will also include wiki in the description below. The theme of the lyrics, it says that Alana says that she compared herself to Estella from Charles Dickens's novel Great Expectations while having a confrontation with her partner about their uncomfortable relationship. Does that sound like legit to you?
Yeah. I probably won't be going over all the lyrics to all the songs in this album because most of the lyrics in the song are very easy to understand, you know? It's like you
Yeah.
can read it and you're like, oh, that's what they mean, you know?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same thing too. Like I just wanted to take a look at some of the lyrics here, you know. Yeah,
I
like I
did like
said,
that beginning. I did like that beginning though. Do I stress you out? My sweater is on backwards and inside out. Did you say how appropriate? I like that line. I did.
yeah. Yeah, and one thing well, I'm reading the lyrics right now here, and it even says like I'm like Estella, which was the reference to that Charles Dickens book that I just told you about. I like to
Yeah.
reel it in and then spit it out. I'm frustrated by your apathy. Let's see here. Why are you so petrified of silence? It's pretty much like, when it comes to any relationship, sometimes you just want to cool off or whatever, or your partner wants to cool off, doesn't want to say anything, don't want to
Yeah.
talk to anyone until they decompose and all that. But yeah, I was going to say, I really couldn't click with this song personally, But I will tell you, one song that I definitely did click with is obviously the main song, next song here, You Oughta Know, which is probably the biggest hit from this album, without a doubt. Now,
All right, let me see. For you ought to know, I put down it was good, but not as good as that first track. And I did watch all the music videos, but they're all pretty basic. They're you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I was thinking like we'll look at the music videos right after we look at the lyrics and the meaning of it. So,
Okay,
but
yeah.
what I'm thinking is like I said, it was there was a reason why she won a Grammy for that song, or at least not. Uh, yeah, best rock song. Like this obviously is. It was just one of them songs. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's for the lyric part here. She has Morissette has never publicly identified anyone as the ex-boyfriend portrayed in the song. In 2008, she said, "Well, I've never talked about who my songs were about, and I won't, because when I write them, they're written for the sake of personal expression. So, with all due respect to whoever may see themselves in my songs, and it happens all the time, I never really comment on it because I write these songs for myself, not other people." But nonetheless, in comments made on different occasions, actor comedian Dave Collier has alternatively admitted to and denied being the subject of that song, because remember, they were in a relationship at the time, and she even made a she even made a lyric that was on here saying, "Let me see if I can find it quick." Uh, oh yeah. You seem very well. Things look peaceful. I'm not quite as well. I thought you should know. Did you forget about me, Mr. Duplicity? I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner, but it was a slap in the face at how quickly I was replaced. And are you thinking of me when you fuck her?
Do you want to hear like the kind of description it has on Genius?
Yeah,
All right, so it says the ultimate bad breakup song. This song discusses the fallout of a breakup and is notable for the raw emotion expressed by Morissette, a trend that was just appearing among female artists at the time, especially in terms of sexuality.
yeah,
The lead single from the breakthrough album, Jagged Pill, this is the song that propelled the young Canadian singer-songwriter to somewhat short-lived superstardom. The song features Flea and Dave Navarro from Red Hot Chili Peppers and Jane's Addiction, respectively, on bass and guitar.
yeah,
The song received 2 Grammy Awards and was nominated for a third. It reached the top 10 on 3 different American charts. The subject of the song has been heavily debated, and while Morissette continues to be sound, as you were saying earlier,
yep,
she hasn't said who it's about, you know. There's a
yep,
strong suggestion that it is about Dave Coulier, that better known as Uncle Joey Gladstone from Full House.
Yep.
who has alternatively admitted and denied this assessment.
Yep. Like, here's what I yeah, here it continue for my part. It continues on to say in 1997, the Boston Herald reported that Collier admitted the lines are very close to home, especially the one about an older version of me and bugging him in the middle of dinner. Collier's former television co-star Bob Saget said in one interview that he was present when Morissette made that call during dinner. And then the one thing that I cannot understand is that in the 2021 documentary, which is simply titled Jagged, which was done about her work on it, Morissette pretty much denied that the song was about him. Other celebrities that have been rumored to be the lover in this song include Micah Pelosko, who was a former hockey player for the New Jersey Devils, Doug Gilmour, who was a former hockey player himself, and Matt LeBlanc, who the actor who appeared in the video for Morissette's single "Walk Away" in 1991, and also included Leslie Howe, a musician and the producer of Morissette's first two albums in the early 1990s. And it is because of all those the store things that I just brought up. This and because of the fact that she has never identified who it is, in my opinion, this I think right here is probably one of the biggest mysteries in music.
Honestly, in my opinion, if you're gonna write a breakup song, that's the way to do it. You write the song, don't call anyone out for it. You just write the song, and people can just listen to it and relate to it.
Dude, hip hop artists get called out all the time.
It's one of the things I don't like about that genre is people always calling people out and saying they're better than everyone.
It's called
But that's not always the case.
Growing some balls. That's how I see it. It's like it's called growing some fucking balls.
See, with the music I made, it's all very personal and unique, you know. I never have made anything about anyone else or anything like that, you know.
Are you sure about that though? Like hell, dude.
Yeah. Well,
I'll give you one example. Justin Timberlake, he ended up he did make a song that actually referred to Britney Spears, who he broke up with, and it's called "Cry Me a River," and everyone already knew right away it's about Britney.
Yeah.
You know, but then of course I could give you credit for that because I don't know if he fully admitted that it was about her. But because of like how much of a really big powerhouse couple they were at the time in the early 2000s, people figured, oh, let's put two and two together, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, you want to get into the music video for this thing?
Sure.
Your phone is muted, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right. So what I wrote down is like, it starts like she is walking down a highway like she was holding a suitcase like she was hitchhiking from a lover's home or whatever kind of thing, you know? Like she got kicked out or whatever. And all of a sudden, like she was out in the middle of the desert. There was a couple shots that she did with the band who was performing in that song, you know? Which is appropriate for like music videos. I mean, if you're going to have a music video, you got to have everyone in it, right? And there's like shots of her like rolling all over the ground, you know, like how couples like, you know, when they're starting to get into it, they roll out around and whatnot kind of thing. And then she ends up keeps running away for like whatever reason. And she ends up running from like this desert to like a mountain or a hill or like kind of thing. And she ends up in a field that's covered in grass and flowers and whatnot. And she lays in there just looking like she's at peace kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I got for it, really.
I don't know. All the music videos on this album, I just didn't really care for. They were very basic.
Yeah.
They were literally just like shots of her doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite music video of all time is David Bowie's Black Star, which was incredible.
Yeah.
It was very unique. And I don't know, this music video and the rest on the track on the album didn't really hit me.
Yeah.
Before you go on, I gotta take a quick piss.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
try and be quick. You
Yeah,
keep
try and be
talking, I
quick
can
because
hear
we
you.
got some more work we gotta do today too. So, but yeah, folks, if you're liking what we're doing here, be sure to subscribe to the Roger Radio Show. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to go check out the interview that I did with Goozy Hines of the UFC. It's a pretty good interview, and if you want to see more content from us, go subscribe to the Interrobang group as well. You know. Aside from that, not much else. Had a good 4th of July and whatnot. Got drunk, but I didn't get laid, so I fucking failed at that. Ha.
Oh, I gotta grab a beer.
Of course you do. He's always forgetting one thing or another, folks. He always is. All right,
All
you
right.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next song that we got is just simply titled Perfect.
Let me see. I think, yeah, this is my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah, I really can't remember which favorite which song was my least favorite, honestly, on here. Like I said, I didn't write a whole lot of notes down. I just only wrote notes down for the music videos because I didn't have time to really do anything because I've been too busy with everything else this week. So
Yeah, the song is from the perspective of a parent attempting to live vicariously through their child, who they push hard to achieve to the point that it's having a negative impact on the child.
dude, that almost reminds me of the life of Judy Garland right there
Yeah.
because her parents fucking did that. And we saw what happened. It wasn't just her parents, but it was also Warner Brothers too. They had a really horrific history of like abusing young actresses at that time too. Not sure sexually abused, but like emotionally and mentally and all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes me think of her name was Jeanette McCurdy. She played her character was Sam in the show iCarly.
Yep, I
And
saw that interview, dude, and I was so sad about that.
yeah,
Like,
and she made a book called I'm Glad My Mom Died.
yeah,
Isn't
not
that a fucking title?
yeah, not only that, dude, but she was like iCarly was made by Nickelodeon too, right?
Yeah.
And who
And it
was the
was done
one?
by that
And
guy with the foot fetish.
yeah, and who was the one guy who was behind all of it? Dan fucking Schneider. So you don't think that he
Yep,
was
the fucking
involved in what
creep.
was going on too with her?
Huh?
You don't think he was involved in what was going on with her too?
Oh, he was definitely involved. It was him and his and her abusive parent.
Yeah. All right. So let me take a look here. Yeah, this one lyric here I could certainly relate to. Be a good boy, try a little harder. You've got to measure up, make me prouder.
Yep.
But yeah, I could certainly see some relation with this stuff. Anything else you want to say about this song?
No, I don't have much to say about that song.
Yeah, I don't either. All right, so the next song that we are going to talk about is another huge hit from it, Hand in My Pocket. Now, this one here was probably one of my most favorite ones from this album. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's very tough to choose what my most favorite song would be, but I'm sure we'll figure that out when we get to the end of this podcast. So,
Yeah, I wrote down it had good vocals and good music. I know it says on Genius, it says, "Yeah, Hand in My Pocket" is a song by Alanis Morrisette, released as the second single from Jagged Little Pill. According to Morissette herself, the final version of the song released on the album is the demo version of the song.
Yeah.
Doesn't really say what it's about, but let's see. I'm broke, but I'm happy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm short, but I'm healthy. Yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm hopeful, baby. And what it all comes down to is that everything's going to be fine, fine, fine. Because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one's giving a high five.
Yeah.
I feel drunk, but I'm sober. I'm young, I'm underpaid. I'm tired, but I'm working. Yeah. I care, but I'm restless. I'm here, but I'm really gone. I'm wrong, and I'm sorry, baby. And what it all comes down to is that everything's going to be all right. Because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is flicking a cigarette.
Wait a minute. How much of this are you gonna read out of curiosity?
I'm just going to quick read through the whole thing. It's not too long.
Okay.
And what it all comes down to is that I haven't got it all figured out just yet. Because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is given a peace sign. In free but unfocused, blah blah blah. We read that before. Uh, and what it all boils down to is that no one's really got it figured out just yet. Well, I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is playing a piano. And what it all comes down to, my friends, yeah, is that everything is just fine, fine, fine. Because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is hailing a taxi cab. So what do you think of that?
Like I said, it's a good song, dude. So they obviously this is another song that had a music video here. Here it was the whole entire thing was shot in black and white in its entirety. Yeah, and I was like, is this supposed to be a? And I can't. And I was thinking to myself, was this supposed to be a music video edition of fucking Schindler's List because of all the black and white? I'm surprised that
Yep.
Alanis wasn't wearing a red dress in that movie in the fucking video. So,
No,
but
like
yeah,
it was like of a fucking parade or something, right?
yeah, it was like a parade, and she was driving a car that was supposed to have like a politician and his family in it. There was like shots of her doing that while she's singing to the lyrics to it, and then there would be a shot of her just standing in the middle of the parade while playing her harmonica and whatnot. And then where she says, "I'm free, but I'm focused," the camera shot made her blurry as hell on purpose.
Yep.
I don't know why. I don't know why that was funny. Honestly, you know, like everyone was just there looking innocent and whatnot. Then all of a sudden, there's like a drunk woman that's right there, and then we got a man and a woman who's making out like against the wall or whatever while she's getting drenched on in rain or whatnot. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Damn.
Got anything else to say about that song?
Nope, I got everything I need to get off my chest. All right, so what we're gonna do after these two songs is we're gonna take a break, and then we'll come back to it. So
Okay. Right Through You is the next one, and I wrote down that it was another good one, but nothing outstanding.
you know, I'll be honest with you, I kind of like spaced it right. I got this point, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know why, you know, like pretty much at this point, like a couple of the songs were starting to sound like kind of the same, but you know, it is what it is.
All right, so reading off Genius, all right, it appears that this song, as well as a few other songs on Jagged Little Pill, are about the subject of the song Hands Clean
Dude, can
of
I
the
ask you
2000.
something? Why
Yeah,
are you saying jagged little pill like gigolo pill?
I know, I'm just rushing the words together. Jagged Little Pill.
You say that. Oh yeah, juggalo. But continue.
All right. Under Rug Swept. Hands Clean was originally written looking back on an affair and a long-term relationship 14-year-old Alanis had with a record industry executive. Alanis was later dropped from this label where she had been a child star in Canada because her music was moving in a more mature direction. She then moved to LA to make Jagged Little Pill. This is addressed throughout the song, but spelled out right. but spelled right out in verse 3.
Yeah.
So for verse 3, it says, "Oh, hello, Mr. Man. You didn't think I'd come back? You didn't think I'd show up with my army and this ammunition on my back?" That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Now that I'm Miss Thing, now that I'm a zillionaire, you scan the credits for your name and wonder why it's not there. You know what I mean? For
I
like
did,
music credits and all that stuff, and he ain't there.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what the hell, man? What the hell? I did all this for you, and this is the thanks I get? Miss Thing? Now, obviously, there was no music video for this, so you got anything else to say?
No, honestly, I think the lyrics on this song are pretty solid.
Yeah, I thought so too, but it's like one of them things. It's like, like when you're listening to a music album and then you kind of space it instead of like completely trying to focus, like I really got to do more better than that with that. Maybe I might have to actually start putting more work into like doing these album reviews so I could bring as much as I can, so that we could do that too. But yeah, it's I thought it was a good song, But like I said, at this
Yeah,
point, I just kind of spaced it a tiny bit, So all right, so the next one here is called "Forgiven," and obviously, I don't really know what else to say about this. This for some reason with this song and "Right Through You," it was almost like the comparison to two of the songs that we talked about on Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms a while back, dude. It almost felt like it was that. For their track 4 and 5 song, it's kind of like the same with these songs, in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't know why. So
All right. Yeah, next song we have is Forgiven. Do we have a description? All right. In an interview with Mark Blake Morrisette stated on the subject of her faith growing up, "I was told that if I wasn't a virgin when I was a teenager, I would be a real whore. I believed that if I had sex, I would be damned to hell forever. The Catholic faith, when misgiven, has the capacity to damage the youth that practice it, often by embellishing guilt that they must confront and confess. In Forgiven, Lennis vents about the hypocrisy and pain she experienced growing up as a Catholic youth."
yeah, I was gonna say, and now that you bring that up, let me quickly read this to you. So the first paragraph for for the song right here, it's simply, you know how us Catholic girls can be. We make up for so much time a little too late. I never forgot it. Confusing as it was, no fun with no guilt feelings. The sinners, the saviors, the loverless priests. I'll see you next Sunday. And remember, it was around this time too. I think it was like sometime before I can't remember if this was before or after the sound got released, but there was like an iconic moment that had happened on Saturday Night Live where Sinead O'Connor, after performing one of her songs, famously tore a picture of the Pope at the time. As a sign of protesting the Catholic Church because of all the sexual abuse. And then she utterly declared, "Fight the real enemy." And she got banned from SNL for life because of it.
Damn.
It is,
You got anything else to say about the song?
yeah, I'm just looking at this here. Here, I sang to Allura in the choir, oh, Allura, and so on, so on. I confessed my darkest deeds to an envious man. My brothers, they never went blind for what they did. But I may as well have, in the name of the Father, the Skeptic, and the Son. I had one more stupid question. Just imagine if they changed the song "Forgiven" to "Unforgiven."
Yeah.
It would probably be a much more appropriate title.
Hmm.
But yeah, alrighty. So right before we continue on with the rest of this stuff, guys, we are going to take a quick break. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them, or whatever. So, but folks, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show that's dedicated to making your ears lose your virginity. You okay, dude?
Yeah.
You looked like you were fucking lost for a moment, man.
God damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we lost Aegis on Levity.
There we go.
Oh, never mind. He's here again. Alrighty. So, before we continue on, cheers.
Cheers, brother.
So, we have obviously covered the next song. We have covered the first 6 songs, obviously, and like all the information about Jagged Little Pill, or as Aegis here calls it, Gigolo Pill. So we are going to continue.
Pill.
Yep. So we are going to continue on with track 7 and another big hit from this album called You Learn. And I do have a lot to say about the music video in particular, but we're going to play it one step at a time. It's a good sound. I actually like the sound of it. I really do, man. And it sounds like a very genuine 90s song to me because of the overall sound and just like how her singing was like flowing throughout.
My notes that I wrote down for the first thing I wrote down was OMG, it said Jagged Little Pill in the lyrics.
Yeah, that's the one thing that drew my attention too. Could you just imagine?
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, like I don't know how often they would like say like the name of the album title in the album in general, you know, for like any songs or whatever in general.
Usually the album title is the name of a song on the album.
Yeah, and then of course you got The Wall by Pink Floyd, and Roger Waters, you hear him say The Wall like how many times, and then you got The Who with Tommy, and obviously Tommy is going to be said a whole lot in the album, obviously, because it's the name of the character. And I'm trying to think who else. Oh yeah, and but yeah, aside from like I was saying, you know, like yeah, and you are right with that. Like there'll be a bunch of albums that will be named after like a particular song, which is supposed to like either be their biggest song off the track, or it's supposed to, they just liked it, you know?
Yeah, I also wrote for the album that it has good vocals, but not the strongest of all the songs in the album. And then the next note I wrote was on the music video for it, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah. But like I said, man, I really did like it. Like I said, it's one of my top favorites.
And on Genius, it says, You Learned is a song by Alanis Morrisette, released as the 5th single from her album, Jagged Little Pill. The song became her 3rd single to reach the top 10 in the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. Lyrically, the song is about living your life to its fullest potential and realizing that things in life happen for a reason. It's how we learn from those experiences that help us mold into the person we are today.
Yep. Alrighty, so obviously I'm looking at Wikipedia right now, and it does have the description for the music video on here, and it's kind of the same what I wrote on here. But here's how it goes. There were 2 different music videos that were produced for this song. The original music video, directed by Liz Friedlander, starts with Morissette, her hair in dreadlocks, handstanding in her apartment. She puts on a white sports jacket, leaves the apartment by the fire escape and carelessly crosses the street, causing a multi-car accident and an ensuing riot. Morrisette ignores the riot, walking on top of the cars that get in her way. After passing by a fire truck, Morrisette arrives at an indoor basketball arena on a horse where she, now in a red jacket, successfully throws a ball past to her into the basket. Remember, when she was walking past the fire truck, she was not really walking past it. She was still on that same horse going horseback riding too.
Yep.
Morrisette then exits the arena to the street and performs backflips through it. By the time she finishes, she is wearing a gray jacket and just randomly kisses a dude on the same street and runs into an unfinished bridge. Now wearing a green jacket, but just randomly kisses a dude. Dude, do you know how much money I'd give to have a girl randomly kiss me on the streets? All right, so to continue on, it continues with saying she jumps from the ledge, lands wearing a blue jacket, and obviously as she landed, it turns nighttime because it was a shot in daytime, but ends up going to nighttime now. And she ends up engaging in a pie fight with a group of people, and one of the guys who was the first to pie her in the face was Taylor Hawkins of Foo Fighters, who was her live drummer. God rest his soul, he's been gone for a couple years now. Right afterwards, and then I assume the rest of the group was like her band that was like performing on the song, if I remember correctly. She then ends up emerging into a boxing ring wearing a black jacket and boxing gloves and faces off with another woman in complete boxing gear. The woman punches her straight in the face, knocking her out cold to the mat. She then gets up, staggers to her feet, and wobbly exits the ring and walks out of the gym, and then the video just ends. The video was shot in New York City's meatpacking district, and it took about 23 hours in 10-degree weather to film it all. It also features the Twin Towers in a scene where Morrisette does tumbling. Morrisette also is never seen singing throughout the duration of the clip. Obviously. It's supposed to be like, even though it did not tell a story, or even though the lyrics did not tell the story of like what was in the music video, it was almost like one of those narrative kind of things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The second music video just shows her with her band during a live performance. Some clips include her performing from the MTV Unplugged video because she performed on MTV Unplugged. The live version was used instead of the album version. And this music video with all the stuff that she did, that was the album version. But like I said, I love the song. The music video I thought was great, you know? Typical, right?
I don't know. Music, I think, was good, but I just wasn't a fan of any of the music videos.
No, well, like I said, dude, like a music video has to complement a song at some point, you know? Heck, yeah, you would only do like back in those days, dude, you only did music videos for songs that would become their biggest hits. And now you could see like a lot of bands today that are doing music videos for practically every song on every album now. Now, I know that Metallica did that with their 72 Seasons album. Every video or every song had a music video on it. This was 13 songs that Alanis did on Jagged Little Pill, and she only did 5 music videos. So, and we got 2 more to talk about for music video personnel or whatever. All right, so the next song here, Head Over Feet. Love the song, but I was like, what the fuck am I watching with the music video?
Yeah, for Head Over Feet, my notes said good, but not great. And then I wrote down that the music video is just her face. It's just a video of her face singing.
Yeah, well, not only that, dude, but she was like in a complete black background, right? It was almost the equivalent of so I don't know if you ever saw this or heard this song here, but it was from the Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, which was the solo debut by Roger Waters, and he did a music video for the song Sexual Revolution or it's in parentheses 4:41 a.m. And it was kind of like the same thing. Like it was showing like some exterior background stuff, but then when it cuts to him, it's like him in a complete black background, just singing into a mic.
Yeah, it's kind of like a David Bowie's fucking music video for Heroes.
Oh
It was
yeah,
literally just like him in a spotlight singing, you know.
yeah,
Honestly, I think that was one of his weakest music videos. His best, of course, in my opinion, was Black Star.
yeah. Here's the thing though. I was watching the music video for this song, right? And every time she got to the chorus, she just stopped singing and just looks away. But everywhere else in the parts, Archie was singing perfectly and staring intently into your soul, dude.
Hmm.
Like, what was that all about?
I know it was just a basic music video, nothing too fancy.
Maybe she didn't want to do too much with it. I don't know. Because remember, all of her music videos, she did a lot of production, but this was probably the most tamed when it came to production. It's also almost like some reason it reminds me of like No Surprises by Radiohead when it's Tom York in that water tube that like what you and I were looking at the other a while back for that old video review. And like it's just him like a shot of him right there, but at least with the water rising and then drowning out, they added something unique to that video. They didn't do anything like that with this music video.
Yeah. And for on Genius, first description, what it says is Head Over Feet tells the tale of a couple who are best friends as well as lovers, in which the protagonist thanks a friend for his manners, love, and devotion.
Yeah. I can understand that because I'm looking at some of the lyrics right now here, and here's a part where she says, "You're my best friend with benefits."
Hmm.
Like it's basically like you know what friends with benefits are, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's basically like you're not in a relationship, but you're fucking each other. So, well, for those, there's people who don't know, so I'm helping educate them. All right.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like I said, dude, I could attest to that part because I was in one of those situations, and that ended ugly.
There's a reason why I don't do hookups or any shit like that.
Yeah. You're more of the you're the guy with
Romantic.
you're the friend with honor is what I call it out of both of us. Like we're an iconic duo. You're the guy with honor. I'm the guy with no honor.
God
That's how I describe our
damn
working
it.
relationship anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost.
There we
Oh,
go.
never mind. We got him back. We want him back. All right. So the next song right here is obviously called Mary Jane, and I don't know if she was trying to if that name is supposed to be a reference to Spider-Man or whatever, because of the Spider-Man cartoons back then. The movies did not come out at that point, but there was a character named Mary Jane on it. But I know it's not about
when I
that
saw the
Mary
title,
Jane.
when I saw the title Mary Jane, I immediately thought of marijuana.
Well,
But
why?
you've never heard someone refer to marijuana as Mary Jane?
No, I heard of them call
As
it a chronic.
no, Mary Jane can be a term for marijuana.
Dude, yeah, well, I never heard anything like this before, and I do use a pot once in a while, but I call it I either call it just a weed, a chronic, a spliff, a Thai stick, a Acapulco Gold, or Maui Wowie, or that strong
Or
stuff.
just pot.
Yeah,
I used to just call it pot when I was smoking that.
yeah. Oh, well, my dad, like he was one of those guys who loved to smoke it both medically and recreationally. And every time he heard me
Yeah.
say pod, he would just smack me on the head, said, "No, it's called marijuana. You are not a punk. Don't say it like you're a punk." He says that marijuana is supposed to be like a classier name, and he wants me to say it with class. But I was like, I don't give a damn what it's called. It's the same thing. But all right, so
All right, do you want to hear what Genius says about the song?
could you please, dude? I can't for the life of me get anything on the top of my head right now. So
All right, in her Spotify series, The Real Story of Jagged Little Pill, Alanis described this song by saying, "It was my empathy for the feminine, for the vulnerable, and the self-care, particularly for those of us who are service-oriented and generous, and the orientation in life is to give and ask questions later. For the people who are in a position of service for their career or otherwise, just a reminder to take care, and it was slightly influenced by a friend of mine at the time. Just watching how sweet she was to me and sweet she was to everyone, and then she would go home at night and be really depleted, and in my case, I would go home and be really depressed. So I thought there was something that needed to be said about the self-care needing to be upped and the empathy.
yeah,
Being in context with so many narcissistic people, the two qualities that disappeared were curiosity and well-being. Like even just how you doing? That would
yeah,
never happen for emotional well-being. That wasn't even a consideration. And then empathy. A lot often there was no empathy. So that song was my way of turning it around and singing to myself in a sort of ways. I would often listen to that song on tour and pretend that woman was singing to me.
yeah,
Throughout the song, she paints a picture of a character who has lost enthusiasm for living, withdrawn from the world, and is sleepless, dieting, and denying herself the freedom to cry in order to appear a way that is very different to how she genuinely feels to the objective observer. She is also portrayed as a person making risky choices about their lifestyle to their own detriment and not thinking clearly about the consequences of the decisions before making them.
nice.
That's what it has to say about that song.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I wrote this was probably my second least favorite song on the album.
Okay, I can't remember where I have it ranked at, honestly. So I honestly don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I really don't have much to say about it. Really. It's like it's pretty much it's like yeah, just like what you said. You pretty much said it all for me, pretty much about this song. So I don't know what else to go with. But yeah, we might as well just move on. And I know you got a lot to say about this song right
Oh
here,
my
so
God.
I'll let you. All right. So the song is called "Ironic," and I'll give you the time to say it all. The floor is yours.
All right. Let me just read this off the Google fucking AI shit, all right? So basically, the thing about the song Ironic is none of the situations that it describes are ironic at all. The only thing ironic about the song is that it is called ironic, and all of the examples of irony in it are not ironic.
Yeah.
Literally nothing in the song is ironic at all. It's just unfortunate situations that are very coincidental.
Yeah.
Nothing about the song is ironic at all.
And is that all you got?
Yeah. Honestly, it's not my least favorite song in the album because the vocals and the music are really good, but as far as the lyrics go, I
Yeah.
give it to I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I actually have this song on here. Give me a moment. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't have this song on my playlist personally. No, I wasn't really much into it myself, but this song right here is supposed to be the biggest hit from this album. But
Yes,
I could see why I don't know
it's
why.
catchy. It's catchy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about me, but it's kind of like when we talked about Radiohead's OK Computer, and I wasn't really into No Surprises. Some reason Ironic kind of is like in that same level with the No Surprises. I just couldn't get into it, even
Yeah,
though
like if
they're
you're gonna
even though they're both very, very popular songs, or like the popular songs from those albums. I could not get into them.
Yeah, like if we're gonna write a song called Ironic and make a song about irony, you should have actual examples of actual irony, not just what is it saying here? Unfortunate coincidences, or situations that defy expectations that are not contradictory in a way that would be considered truly ironic.
Yeah. Okay, so here, all right. So here's now my perspective about the music video that I watched, because I was watching it earlier before we started recording this. So the music video for Ironic was directed by Stefan Sednawi, and it was released on January 23rd, 1996. And remember, it makes perfect sense because it was filmed during winter time, and it almost felt like typical Minnesota winter for all of us up here. Okay, so the video starts with Morissette at a gas station walking into her car, which was a 1978 Lincoln Continental Mark V, with a cup of coffee in her hand. Then she drives her car through a winter landscape and begins to sing the song's first verse. And then when the chorus comes, a second Morissette comes in out of nowhere wearing a green sweater and sits in the back seat on the passenger side. When the first chorus ends, a third Morissette comes in. She's wearing a yellow sweater with braided hair, also in the back seat. And then on the driver's side, along the way, the yellow Morissette is singing and eating at the same time. And when it comes to the second verse, the fourth and last Morissette comes in, this time wearing a red sweater, sitting in the front passenger seat. During the second chorus, she climbs out of the window when they are still driving and almost gets knocked out by a bridge, but still manages a smile after doing so. The camera comes back to the driving Morissette after the breakdown, and she takes off her hat, tosses it into the backseat, and becomes as loud as the other three while singing the song. When Morissette sings the outro, she is still driving through the winter landscape. Then suddenly the car breaks down, possibly from running out of gas, which may be quote unquote ironic in itself since the video started with her at the gas station. Morissette, as the driver, gets out of the car, and all of her passengers had just vanished. So it continues on to say that in an interview with Vogue magazine in 2015, Morissette ends up revealing that her clothes in the video reflected the personalities of each character. The driver in the red knitted beanie was the one in control, the responsible one. The spunky character, who Morissette refers to as the quirkster, wears the yellow sweater with a crown of long swaying braids. Morissette liked the braids so much that she would often wear them on stage. The passenger seat girl, wearing a deep red sweater and pajama-type pants, was the romantic, wistful, and thoughtful, and also the risk-taker. As for the girl headbanging in the back seat in the green sweater, Morissette said, "The girl in green feels the most like the whole me. The green sweater girl, fun and frolicky. She gets into trouble. She's the girl you want with you when you are heading to a water park." I couldn't tell if I heard the dump truck outside. Oh yeah, I can. They're emptying it out.
Yep. Yep.
Ain't that ironic? You're just like, fuck you.
This is in no way ironic.
I lost my mic. Give me a moment. I think I unplugged. Wait, what happened to my web camera? Can you see me?
Nope. Yeah, I can see you.
I was going to say, yeah, you prick. All right, so the next song that we are going to cover today, ladies and gentlemen, in our Jagged little marathon right here, you see the pun that I did? It's called Not the Doctor. Now, I don't know what it is with the name of this song, but I could relate to that because I'm like, trust me, I'm a doctor here, ladies.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can already see that some of the stuff, some of the lyrics that I'm looking at right here do kind of fit appropriately with, the name of the song because, there's like, I don't want to be your glass of single malt whiskey hidden in the bottom drawer, and I don't want to be a bandage if the wound is not mine. Lend me some fresh air.
Literally, all Genius says for the song is that eloquently demands quality, freedom, and an individual identity, not merely an existence as an extension of someone else. That's all it says on Genius.
Could you repeat that, dude? You cut it out there.
Yeah. Alanis eloquently demands equality, freedom, and an individual identity, not merely an existence as an extension of someone else.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah. I don't want. Here's another one. Like, I don't want to be your mother. I didn't carry you in my womb for 9 months. Show me the back door. Now, what do you think that means? For some reason, it almost makes it feel like, you know what a surrogate mother is, right?
Yeah.
Like when you hire like another woman to like carry like a baby or something for 9 months and all that type of stuff. I don't know what it is that almost makes it feel like it relates to that, but the part where it says I didn't carry you for 9 months, or like I don't want to be your mother, like I just don't know, man.
To me, it's like she was in a relationship, but he was like kind of a baby, you know? He was like, I don't want to be your mother. I didn't carry you in my womb for 9 months. Show me the back door. Let me out of this.
Yeah, let me out. Visiting hours are 9 to 5, and if I show up at 10 past 6, well, I already know that you'd find some way to sneak me in. Almost sounds like one of them conjugal visit kind of things.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, man, but I could really relate to this song. Maybe I might have to give this another listen and see if I want to download it or not. You got anything else you want to say about this?
No, not really.
Yeah, that's kind of the same for me. All right, so we got two more songs to cover right now, ladies and gentlemen, but we are going to start with Wake Up. Here we go. This here is appropriate for us up here in Minnesota, folks. You like snow, but only if it's warm. You like rain, but only if it's dry.
All right, yeah, it says on here the final track on Jagged Little Pill, Wake Up, sees Morissette standing up to a man who she is likely in a relationship with, who appears to complain too often or struggle with commitment.
Shit. Just imagine if she did what Willie Nelson did on Redheaded Stranger, just shoots the man and his lover.
Hmm.
Like, imagine that. There's no love, no money, no thrill anymore. That's one of the lyrics on here, and I was like, yeah, that does sound about right. There's just no love, no thrills anymore in this relationship. Like, it's gotta end. Like, what's the point of continuing if you guys are just not gonna have any love or thrills anymore? All right, so you got anything else you want to say about this?
No, not really.
All right. Now, obviously, there's like 13 tracks that's on here. I don't know if this is the bonus one here, but It's the same song again. You Oughta Know, but it's like supposed to be the Jimmy the Saint blended. It's just the same fucking thing, but they extend like the outro like around the 4 minute mark when the song ends. There's like a minute of silence and then it goes on to like this choiry like kind of feel, you know, like when you're in a church choir, like what the. You're just pretty much listening to the same thing, but they did something different, which has no sense to, or no purpose of being on here. Here, that is pretty much what killed me for this album was that redux they did of You Oughta Know, which should get this album disqualified, or they should have disqualified this song and left it on off this album permanently. They could have like put it on like a anniversary or deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Jen, like the 12 tracks could have just been appropriate for this for the final release.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I listened to this album, I just saw that song. I was like, I'm not gonna listen to that fucking song again, so I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, well, you know me, I had to take a look anyways because I wanted to see if there was actually a difference in it, but there wasn't. There absolutely was not. So this here right here for me, way at the bottom of best to worst in my opinion. Well, now we've just covered all the songs. What would you say is where would you rank this at? For me, I would say 7 out of 10.
I think I'd have to agree with you. 7 out of 10 or 7.1 out of 10.
Yeah. Like I said, it's very tough for me to say for what my most favorite song is, but I think I'm gonna bite the bullet on this one. I will say Hand in My Pocket. There was something about not only like the overall sound of the song, but the music video. I did like the music video.
Yeah, my favorite song on the album, of course, was All I Really Want, the first song of the album. That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Mainly just for the vocals. The vocals on that song were excellent. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, you know, so.
Yeah, my least favorite song, though, had to have been Perfect. That was my least favorite song.
You already know it. I already said it, dude. You Oughta Know Jimmy the Saint blend. Or the Jimmy the
Yeah,
Saint blend edition I did not like.
excluding that, because that was just like a redo of a song that was already on the album.
Yeah, they could, like I said, they could have just put it either on the 25th anniversary edition or the collector's edition, and that would have been fine then. But alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't listened to it, I definitely recommend you check it out. There's a reason why it was one of the main albums for the 1990s. Like, I would consider this among like the big albums that came out during that decade, you know, like I would consider it as like part of the big four albums in my opinion. Like one of them of course would be this one, Jagged Little Pill. The second one would be Radiohead's OK Computer. Third, Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory. And then finally, of course, we cannot have this big four without Nirvana's Nevermind. It was a decent album, man. Like, there is a reason why Alanis Morrisette solidified her legacy, and I said it before and I'll say it again. This is definitely her magnum opus right here. And with her songwriting partnership with the likes of Glenn Ballard, it's no wonder why this album came out great. You know, like, it was, like I said, everyone's soundtrack back in the 90s. Probably not everyone's, but, you know, a majority of people's soundtracks. Even my parents... my mom could tell you like how she and my dad listened to it a lot. You know, so. But I would definitely recommend it. I will include a link to this album in the description below so you can all check it out as well if you haven't listened to it. Final thoughts, Aegis?
No, it was a good album. You said everything that's got to be said. The album was good. In my opinion, the music videos didn't really hit home with me. They're kind of weak. But I have high standards for music videos, as I do just about everything else.
Yeah. Yupper, absolutely, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this podcast. this will be our last album review that we're gonna do for a while. We're gonna take a break from it. There's a bunch of other topics that we are going to cover, and obviously for next week, so we are going to discuss our favorite albums overall. There's gonna be 30 for each of us, so it'll be a pretty long podcast. But you guys, hope you all check it out and like it. But if you guys, what are your guys' thoughts about Jagged Little Pill? Let us know in the comment section below. And yeah, Aegis, you got anything you want to say about the Intermission group?
Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to the Intermission group. We're making some stupid fucking shit over there. It's entertaining, it's fun. We're having a good time recording it at least.
Yep, absolutely, man. And yeah, if you guys want to see more music-related content from me here, be sure to subscribe to my channel and just watch my stupid shit too, you know? But all right, man. Cheers before we sign off.
1 second.
Of course. He has to take a hip of his weed. All right,
Hey,
man.
cheers.
Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, ta-ta for now!
Peace.